Hi there. I'm back on my crappy old cam, the one that came with the laptop, because all of my uh, electronics are packed away in boxes because I'm moving house. But I've written another story, which doesn't have a name, and it's about AB things. I'm gonna warn you right off the bat. It is kind of sad. So if that's not your thing, then maybe not the best story to read. I've written it. It's the same characters as it usually is. So I'll just get right into it, and you can leave me your opinions in a comment if you so desire. Okay. It was a few days after Daddy went away. I don't know where he went. He didn't tell me. He just gave me a kiss on the forehead and walked out that front door. I did ask Nanny where he was going, but she simply announced that my dinner was ready and placed a plate on the tray of the high chair. After that, it was just me and Nanny for a few days. They were grey days, dreary and grey, and I didn't do much other than stare out the lounge room window at the trees bending in the wind and glance idly at my toys before deciding that they weren't much worth my time. I asked where Daddy was a few times to no avail. Nanny would always direct me to some new activity or place an item of food in my hand as some method of distraction, but it did nothing to quell my curiosity. I think I knew, though. I knew that something bad had happened and that Daddy was never going to come back. I could see it in his eyes on the day that he left. I knew even more so that something was wrong this morning. I caught Nanny packing 2 twin suitcases. At first I'd assumed that Nanny and I were going on a trip, which at once brought a tremendous surge of excitement, and I began colouring pictures of stick figures on the beach, or stick figures in a big city, or stick figures that were reminiscent of marshmallows in their puffy suits, standing knee-deep in snow. "Nanny, look!" I said, brandishing the drawings in front of her and flashing her the biggest grin that I had sported in days. "It's us on our holiday! Where are we going?" At first the look on her face was one of agony, which then gave way to a quaint yet hollow look of surprise. "Our holiday?" she asked. "What do you mean, honey?" "I saw you packing," I said slowly, as I was beginning to doubt myself. "I made pictures. Are we going on a trip?" Again her expression was conflicted, false joy that masked some sort of deeper, darker emotion. "Sure are, baby girl, and we're leaving very soon." "Where are we going?" I asked, bouncing. Once more her go-to reaction involved food-fueled misdirection. "Why don't we have a snack and give you a change and then we'll head off," she said, leaning down and fixing me with that wonderful smile of hers. After a little while we were on the road. Nanny was wearing those large circular glasses that she always wore, though the sky was a pale grey, which at present was completely blocking out the sun. I sat in my usual vantage point, in the back, in my car seat. Nanny had given me a bottle of juice in an effort to keep me quiet, which had worked for the most part. I had, for the 30 or so minutes that we'd been driving, said about 3 words. Instead of talking, I had kept the teat of the bottle clamped firmly between my teeth as I concentrated on the view outside. The city had dropped away, and we'd passed suburbs I'd never even heard of before. Now we were driving on what appeared to be a highway. Maybe we were going all the way to the top of the country, or maybe we were going to see Nanny's family. Maybe we were going somewhere with big, big trees that stretched all the way into the sky, or maybe somewhere by the water so we could build sandcastles and collect shells. I honestly didn't care as long as I got to spend time with my Nanny, and in that moment I'd even forgotten about Daddy, for the most part. I remembered him, though, as soon as the car stopped. We were outside a house that was, honestly, quite unremarkable, except for its size. It was massive. It was fairly old, but not excessively so. It sat fairly far back on the block, and it had several trees growing in the front yard. I didn't know what kind, though. A flower garden ran the perimeter of the property, and it featured bushes of large, pink, ruffled flowers. A brick path ran from the gate to the double doors at the front of the house. We passed a sign as we pulled up outside the house, but I hadn't had a chance to read it. The doors opened, and a woman walked out. I turned to look at Nanny, but she was no longer in the front seat. She was now standing outside the car and was greeting the woman with that same masked expression. The door nearest me opened. "Vanessa, honey, this is Dr. Abigail." All of a sudden I felt a great wave of bashfulness wash over me, and all I could manage was a wave and a darting glance in her general direction. "Hi, Vanessa," said Dr. Abigail, who I could now see had a shock of long, straight, grey hair that almost reached her waist. "How are you?" "Okay," I said, chewing on my lip. "Is this where we staying for the holiday, Nanny?" At this point, Nanny knelt down and looked me in the eyes. "Baby, we need to talk," she said. I saw that mask drop to reveal her true emotions. It took her a few minutes to explain to me that Daddy had left because he couldn't look after a baby girl anymore, and that he was never ever coming back, that she had to go away too, and finally that we weren't going on a holiday at all, that I had to live at this new place now with all the other boys and girls without a mummy or daddy. I didn't bawl like I wanted to. I just gritted my teeth silently and stared at her, my Nanny who I loved, but who was leaving me just like Daddy had. I heard her promise to visit me from time to time as she unbuckled me from my car seat and helped me to stand, but I didn't say anything. She hugged me tightly, told me that she loved me, and then Dr. Abigail was taking my hand. This strange woman was taking my hand, and she was leading me inside this house, this new house that was completely and utterly foreign to me. I turned my head just in time to see Nanny giving me a sad wave through the window of the car and driving away. I looked towards the house that was to be my new home, and up at the strange woman who had hold of my hand, and I began to cry. End of the very depressing chapter 1. My God, I didn't realize how depressing this was until I read it through. Anyway, hope you enjoy, and I might write a chapter 2, I might not. This might actually make me cry. Okay, goodbye. Have a nice night.